Hey everyone, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina. I'm your host. Very excited to be here with you today to do a comparison video talking about the NUNA TRIV Next versus the Peg Perego Vivace 2025. But before we launch in, if you haven't yet, like, follow, subscribe. We're growing this viewership. It's working really well. Thank you so much for all the views, guys. Additionally, if you're watching this video and you learn something from it and you end up wanting to buy one of these products, head on over to my website, destinationbabykids.com. I am a real brick and mortar store here in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. I don't just make these videos for fun. I do want you all to learn. So if you find that you're learning from here and you're inspired and you want to support the channel, the greatest way to show your support would be to head on over to our website, destinationbabykids.com, and buy something directly off the website. Okay, commercial's over. Let's launch into the Peg Perego Vivace 2025 versus the NUNA TRIV Next. Okay, so unfortunately, both of these strollers are in very similar colors, so it might be hard to differentiate, but I will do my best to make it clear for you at the viewing audience. So this one that I'm standing behind right now with the little front boot on it, this is going to be the Peg Perego Vivace 2025. This is shown in a color called Astral. Now, this other stroller that I am standing in front of right now, this is the NUNA Baby TRIV Next. So these strollers, this color is called Biscotti. So we're looking at two very beautiful sort of almond colors for either stroller. Now, both of these strollers are roughly the same price. So you're looking at $799.99 or $800 for either option. The biggest difference is going to be Peg Perego, which is this one here, is all a one-handed fold. It's also going to be newborn compatible from birth, and it has a 5-year warranty and is made in Italy. If you're thinking about TRIV Next is made in China. It is a 2-year warranty, and it is not newborn compatible with the stroller seat from birth. So we will be sure to show you guys that difference right now. So what does that mean? If we're talking about a stroller and using it with a newborn, something that you would want to make sure of, I'm going to go ahead and remove the boot off of the Peg, but again, that is included in the purchase price, which is pretty cool. If you wanted to lay a new baby directly into either one of these strollers from birth, with the Vivace, you can turn the seat around, you can recline the stroller completely flat, and this would be a sufficient recline for a newborn coming home from the hospital, meaning you don't have to buy a bassinet, you don't have to use a car seat on the stroller frame in order to be able to put a newborn directly into the stroller seat. This is actually a huge feature. Probably doesn't seem like a very big deal, but here in the Bay Area where space is very limited, frequently people don't want to have to buy multiple products in order to work immediately. So one of the issues with the TRIV Next, and I'm just being very candid, I do like this product, but there are some limitations to it, so I want to make sure I talk about that. One of the limitations here is that if we recline this seat, this is not a newborn compatible recline. So if we set these strollers immediately next to each other, back to back, it should be very clear that the Peg Perego lays flatter than the NUNA. The NUNA is more upright. So if you wanted to do TRIV Next from birth, you would either need to use a car seat or you need to buy their bassinet in order to use it from birth. With the Vivace, we would not need to use an infant car seat and we wouldn't need to use a bassinet unless we wanted to. So that's one difference. Another difference that we want to talk about between these two products is one-handedness, okay? What does that mean? How does this stroller operate with just a single hand? So I would argue that NUNA goes out of their way to say that like this has a one-handed fold. Technically that's true, but I'd argue it's not actually like a meaningful fold. So let's show you what that means. So what does a one-handed fold look like? It means we're just going to use one hand to get the stroller to collapse. Now the issue is that the stroller is collapsed, but it won't stand because I haven't set it into kickstand mode, okay? So let's talk about that. What does kickstand mode mean? It means that most strollers, when we demonstrate them for consumers, we have to do a few things as we're talking to you to distract you so that you don't see that there's additional work that goes into making the product do the thing you want it to do. So one of the things that people really want their stroller to do is to fold with a single hand, lock, be lightweight, 20 pounds, and not have the actual stroller handle touch the ground. So this stroller is standing up completely on its own. That was a true one-handed fold. It's a true single-handed unfold as well. So I don't need an additional hand to do any of that. So the folding and unfolding on Vivace, very straightforward. Can't really screw it up. True one-handed fold, stands when it's folded. And it's quite compact. It's also 20 pounds. It's lighter weight than TRIV Next. TRIV Next is going to clock in at 21 pounds, so it's a pound heavier. So now for TRIV Next, to do the true fold for this, I just want to be very transparent. Still a great product, but just more work. So if we want to set this to kickstand mode, it's 2 hands. You need 2 free hands to engage the handle to drop to a lower position. Now that's a difference between these two products. This guy, the TRIV Next, has a height adjustable handle. So if you're short, it's really cool because they actually have a very short standing height. But I'd argue the primary way most people are using this is with the handle set at its tallest. The handle set here at its tallest is the same handle height as that Peg Perego Vivace. So they're both about like 41.5 to 42 inches of handle height. It's just this one has a lower handle height. And we set it to the lowest handle height for kickstand mode. Now, we're not done. There's still a few more steps before it's fully ready to stand. The next thing that we're going to want to do is lock these swiveling front tires into forward mode. So the tires can actually lock under the frame, but they can also lock on the forward side of the frame. We're going to go ahead and spin them to be forward, put our hand under the frame, lock the wheels on both sides. So now both tires are locked, the handle's set to short. Now we can go back into our folding mode where we collapse the seat, we grab the brown handle, and the stroller will fold and stand. So, I don't know if the viewing audience can see, both of these products look about the same size when they're folded. I'd argue they are practically the same size. Peg Perego, 20 pounds. Your NUNA Baby is 21. It's definitely heavier. This also stands on the handle. So if you're the type of person where you're like, well, I don't want my handle to get dirty, it is more likely here that that's just going to be a reality. Another thing that I'd argue about this guy is that it has to be weighted and balanced very specifically when you stand it so it doesn't fall over. Now I've locked mine the correct way, I've put it together, but another feature about this stroller that's different than that guy is there's no true lock when it's folded together. So that's meant to be like, so it's so easy to open up when you want it to be, but I'd also argue if you grab the wrong part of it to lift it, the whole thing kind of just opens up on you, which is a little awkward. So there's nothing particularly wrong or bad about TRIV Next. I just think it's very important for people to understand the #1 complaint that I get about it is after people buy it, they say, mine's broken, it doesn't stand when it's folded. So I just want to really make sure that people understand you have to lower this and then you have to lock those tires in that specifically forward position, otherwise it will not stand when it's folded. Now, what you would get here that you don't get there is, as I mentioned, the height adjustable handle. You also get a heel stirrup on the actual seat itself. Why is this useful? In a backward parent-facing mode, if the footrest is down, there's no heel stirrup on this Peg seat. On the NUNA seat, if you put the heel stirrup down, or the articulating foot plate down, there is a heel stirrup. So there's a place for them to put their feet. My argument with this is that children in this age group generally don't want to look at you. So Not sure if it's super critical, but that's generally the biggest benefit of it in that backward facing mode. And here, as you can see, similar handle height on both products. The NUNA basket will hold 10 pounds, whereas the Peg basket will hold 15. So both very, very comparable. The Peg basket is definitely more accessible. Your opening is larger for the Peg on the front and the back. I do have the dimensions. Opening basket size for Vivace is 18 by 14, or excuse me, 10 and 11, so 10 in the front inches and 11 in the back. TRIV Next is going to be an 8 and a 7-inch opening front back. So very, very similar basket sizes, but again, Vivace holds a little more and is a little bit more gracious, spacious, accommodating for taking things in and out. The other thing that was kind of interesting is that Vivace has a sandal-friendly brake, whereas TRIV Next, you do have to toe up underneath, so not a sandal-friendly brake. So just little differences. An additional thing that you would get with NUNA that you don't get with the Peg Perego is you're gonna get a removable liner with a mesh ventilated back seat. So that is a super nice feature. I wish that they had it on this guy, but again, on this guy, you get the winter boot. So 6 of one, half dozen of another, similar but different. Now, let's show stroller in forward, or you know what, let's show with car seats, because this is the other kind of big difference that will definitely be interesting. The final thing that I'd say about either of these products is that if you're gonna do the car seat on the stroller, the Peg car seat is a single-handed operation and it is just more seamless. So if you do a Peg Perego car seat on the Peg Perego frame, it is what's called a direct connection. So it just hooks up without having to worry about additional adapters. I've already put mine on and now I'm clicking a button on each side, so that was single-handed. It is a single-handed removal and I can turn the seat either direction with a single hand. So I went ahead and I took the stroller seat off with my right hand, and theoretically, I don't know what my left hand is doing. The right doesn't know what the left is doing, but as you can see, I can fold that up with my same right hand while holding the car seat. So frame is about 11 pounds, and again, that is a direct connection where it's just clicking right onto the frame. We don't have to worry about putting something on the frame in order for the car seat to go onto it, which is very cool. Sorry, that's just my alarm telling me to hurry up. If we switch over to NUNA, it's going to include an adapter for NUNA car seats, but that has to go on the frame in order for the frame to collapse and to fold. So if you forget that piece, the car seat won't be able to click onto the stroller. So the difference here is Peg includes those pieces to hook up to the car seat. They go on one time, you never think about them again. With NUNA, we are always dealing with an additional piece on the frame in order to make the car seat work on it. Additionally, if I wanted to turn my car seat around, as we saw on the Vivace, it's a one-handed. We can turn the car seat around and click it the other way. Here it would be two-handed. I'm gonna need 2 hands to press the 2 buttons simultaneously, spin the seat around, and then now the car seat can, in fact, face both directions. Another very cool thing about Peg that NUNA doesn't have is NUNA will only work with NUNA car seats. If you did a Peg Perego, and you wanted for whatever reason to do a NUNA car seat or a Collect car seat or a Cybex car seat, they do give you that option. They make separate pieces that you can buy and leave on the frame, and then you could take a different brand car seat like this NUNA and put it directly onto that Peg Perego frame. So if you're not into their car seat, you could buy a different car seat and put it on the stroller frame. You're not gonna be able to do that with TRIV Next. So it's a little bit more flexible in terms of how it works. And speaking of that flexibility, another key difference between these lightweight, awesome, everyday, in and out of the car, but great for traveling strollers, is that Vivace can also do a standing riding board where there is no option for that on TRIV Next, okay? So what do we mean by that? Well, let's say you have a 3-year-old and a newborn. Now your 3-year-old can stand on this little board while you're walking around. They also make a Pee Wee Herman bike seat for it. So if that kiddo gets tired and they need to sit, they're gonna be able to go ahead and sit. And then as we showed before, we can go ahead and put our car seat directly on there. So now we have newborn and we have older all ready to go on one frame, whereas we would never have that option with the NUNA Baby TRIV Next. So both are small, both are lightweight. Again, Vivace, made in Italy, 5-year warranty, $800, holds 50 pounds in the seat, 15 in the basket. NUNA TRIV Next, $800, holds 50 pounds in the seat, 10 in the basket. Will only ever work for one child, made in China, 2-year warranty, 2-hand operation, car seat adapter included, but always needed to go on the frame, and more of a 2-handed fold versus the 1-handed on the Vivace. So both are excellent choices, but just something to kind of keep in mind if you're looking at one, how would the other one work, and what makes sense for your lifestyle. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, but I would just strongly encourage you to check out the Peg Perego Vivace 2025. If you were thinking about a TRIV Next, absolutely look at this product as well. They are both so similar and awesome. They both push beautifully. Similar but different, little differences. See what fits for your lifestyle and make an informed decision instead of just picking on what's advertised to you on Instagram. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to check out any of our other videos.